And that's the time we can do it and bring it to Shabbat and think of the peaceful things that we want. We bring in the Shabbat in peace and in harmony. And that's the time we think we do the wishes that we want for us, for our children, for our community, for the world. And that's the time we do it. And we have a prayer. After we do this, we have a prayer that's Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Holy, bless him, holy, that instructed us, let us lit the candle of Shabbat. So that's what we do.
Wonderful.
Thank you, girls.
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, very much. And just another tradition on candles is that the mitzvah, the commandment is on two candles. That my grandmother had a whole candelabra because she had a candle for every child. So all kinds of traditions that you put in, that is practice.
Thank you. And on that note, it means that you can own Shabbat your way. You know, there's no set ways, because even amongst the Jewish folk, you get Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardi Jews, coming from different cultures, backgrounds. So they just own it the way they've been brought up, and there's that similarity. You know, every Jew around the world who's observant and honors God is doing the same thing, but in their own little way and spin. You see, so you can do that too. Own it and embrace it the way you want to. So then I usually love putting the candle somewhere near a window, because I've always seen Shabbat as an absolute warhead. It's an absolute warhead into the spirit realm to say, this household serves the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of creation. And it declares, it's like a declaration that your household serve him. So that's why I love the candle story. So beautiful, and the kids love it. And it's what carries on, you know. Your children they've got culture, they've got traditions that mean something. They're not just worldly, they're from the Bible, right? So Eris, I would love you, my friend. Now when we do this, you'll see on your table, before Eris says the brachas and the prayers, you'll see a little cup on your place there, like a little shot glass. It's not a tequila. It's grape juice for the sensitive, alcohol sensitive people. So we're going to this is kosher wine here, so you can do the bracha. And I'm going to just do a bit of an explanation, so Aries doesn't have to go the 10 yards. He can just do the actual prayers. But the man of the house will say the prayer, and I've been so proud of Jamie, for after 21 years of marriage, he's just started saying the Hebrew prayers now, and I'm so excited. But Aries,
terrified I'd get fired.
Just open like that. Yeah, you'll get fired. And the wine is, the fruit of the vine is the substance God has chosen to bless something and set it apart as holy. So he's told you, he's instructed us to take the fruit of the vine to set something apart as holy. So on a Shabbat, you take this as a bracha, it means a blessing, and you set this day and yourselves aside for him. Because he comes in Kabbat, because you're resting, you're not working, you're not being distracted, you've got time to spend with him, right? And your family. So it's a time for oneness with God. And his spirit and his presence is with us in an extra special way. So then there's also an overflow, that little saucer underwards, like you get a goblet like this, to catch the overflow. And it's just a beautiful tradition that we live in the overflow of God's abundance. God's people live in the overflow of his goodness, of what he's done for us. And then he brings the cup and he drinks it. And then once Erez has done that, would you just take the cup on your tables and take a sip, and then keep quiet. It's not a time for talking and mulling around. Then he'll do a blessing over the bread, which is the challah. The chalot is plural. There's two homemade ones under there. I'm going to see which tables get that one. And then I think definitely our Judah family. And Jamie's going to murder me if I don't give him the other ones. But anyway, you can all go and steal a piece. And then I'm going to get my little waitresses to come and you can hand out the other challah to the tables. Okay, my loves? I'll show you. Just pick up the challahs with a piece of paper and take it to the table. Okay? So just they're under the table here, just 2 pieces. All right. So and then there's salt that you sprinkle over the bread, which, and you know why it's plaited for the newbies. They always have a bread plaited as a lovely symbol that your arms are folded on this day and you don't do any work. So it's just a lovely symbol, and it's a wonderful thing to make your own challah at home with your little girls and your sons before Shabbat. It's just such a beautiful downtime, and everybody gets so excited. In Israel, there's such an air in the atmosphere. All the men are going off and buying flowers for their wives. Everybody's excited. The kids get bathed and dressed up because it's Shabbat, and it's like you're welcoming Shabbat. It's like you're welcoming Hashem. You know, He is the peace giver, and we are His bride, right? We're preparing for the groom. So the groom, and the you can explain areas about in shul, you stand to the door and you say, Boi kala, hey, you say, come my bride, right? The Jewish folk in the synagogues on the Friday night, they face the door and they welcome the bridegroom or the bride of the girl. But anyway, so it's very, very symbolic, everything. And the salt is sprinkled over because salt is a sign of covenant. God is in eternal covenant with His people. He's in covenant with one people alone, and that is the Jews. The whole Torah was written to the Jewish folk. And we come into those promises through adoption. We get grafted in as adopted sons and daughters. We choose to serve Him. Where the Jews, they were born to serve Him. And they've still got a choice. You get those that just go work, but unfortunately for them, they miss out. Because these ordinances are eternal. They go on and on. When Mashiach comes, or Olam Haba, they carry on. Because it's an order in the cosmos. And that's why we are rehearsing now. And we are coming back home to these ancient paths. That we can become one. Why? In Psalm 133, when the brethren dwell together in unity, there God commands a blessing. And this unity has been reserved for now, for these days. Never before was there any chance, no cooking clue of Jews and Christians getting together, because we were so on another path of paganism, having feasts and festivals from God knows where. And we are waking up and smelling the coffee and realizing we better look after the house of Judah and preserve what is theirs and help them understand that be proud to be a Jew. Be proud to celebrate these festivals and feasts because we're coming alongside you. So, Erez, come my friend.
Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, everyone. So I asked Tamal to open the Siddur. The Siddur is the prayer book that we pray out of. And thank you. We've got it on here. And what's very funny is that when I sit with my family, and we usually have extended family and friends during the Shabbat in our house, they say, Erez, you must have done this at least 1,000 times. Don't you know it off by heart by now? And the answer is that I'm pretty sure that I know it off by heart, but a couple of things are important for us. One of them is that you do it to the letter. The way the vowels are in and the way it's very important for us to do it to the letter. There's a talk all about that, but that's for another time. And the other thing that's very important is that, and there was a great speech about that, and it coincides with what Elizabeth and Jamie are saying, is that very often in the rush and the excitement that Elizabeth is talking about in Israel or in Jewish families here, there's a rush, and there's a preparation, and there's a getting ready. And very often because of that tension, there's a little opening, there's a little gap for the dark side to creep in and make you be upset with your wife, or make you be upset with your child for not being ready. or being upset that you can't find the right shoes that you want to wear. And he sits there and he waits for this opening in order to take this perfection and to taint it with something that is less than perfect, with the perfect offering of the Shabbat unity that Elizabeth is speaking about. So, Tamar, Toda Rabba, will you switch it back on again for me so that I can make sure that I get it perfect? Toda. ויהי רבעי בוקר, יום השישי, ויחולו שמיים וארץ וכל צבאם. ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישבות ביום השביעי, מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו. כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. חברים, מרנן ורבנן ורבותיי, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. Right, you can have a little drink there, wine. And then the last one from you for now would be ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו מצוותיו ורצה בנו ושבת קודשו ובבוצו נתחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך בעבר וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ.
Can I just mention as well, as you see, there's a theme of twos. There's two plaited breads, and there's two candles. And the tradition comes from using the instruction, the command of Shamor v'Zachor, remember and observe. So you have the two breads on the Sabbath, the two manna breads in the desert that the Israelites got, and the candles are usually the Sefer Kikul, the command of remember and observe. And Liz, can I just give you we have a lovely pizza member and history, walking history book, Gwen Robbins with us, and I would like to, Gwen would like to say something.
There's another reason why we have plaited bread on Friday. When the Jews moved into Northern Europe, it was pagan. Wednesday was named after Woden, the god of war. Thursday was named after Thor, the god of thunder. And Friday was named after Freya, the goddess of fertility and women. And Freya had plaited hair. So the pagans in Europe used to bake plaited bread for a Friday. And when the Jews moved in, they discovered that the bread was plaited on Friday. So they took it over. And that's our kitka. Hello.
Yeah.